Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now and give me your complete and undivided attention for the next 8 minutes. Because what I am about to share with you in this video is something that has been quietly spreading through truck communities across America like wildfire for the past several weeks. The 2026 Ford F-150 is here, and I am not talking about a minor update. I am not talking about a trim change or a new package. I am talking about the most significant, most ambitious, most completely reimagined version of America's best-selling vehicle that Ford has ever had the courage to build. And the reason almost nobody outside of the hardcore truck community is talking about the full story yet is exactly why you need to watch this video all the way to the end, because I am saving the most important detail about this truck for the very last part of this video. And once you hear it, you are going to understand immediately why the people who already know about it are moving so fast. Now, before we get into everything that makes the 2026 F-150 extraordinary, I want to ask you something. How many of you grew up around an F-150? How many of you had a father or an uncle or a grandfather who drove one? How many of you have owned one yourself or dreamed about owning one? Because the F-150 is not just a truck in America. It has never been just a truck. For 70 consecutive years, the Ford F-Series has been the best-selling vehicle in the United States of America. Not the best-selling truck, the best-selling vehicle. Period. More F-150s are sold every single year than any car, any SUV, any crossover, anything. That is not a marketing claim. That is a fact that has held true for 7 consecutive decades. And the reason it has held true is because the F-150 has always understood something fundamental about the American spirit. That capability and pride and hard work are not just values. They are an identity. And the 2026 model honors that identity in a way that is going to make every previous generation of this truck look like a rough draft. What the truck community has been saying. And these are the people who live and breed F-150s, the fleet owners, the contractors, the off-road enthusiasts, the collectors who have owned every generation, is that the 2026 model feels like Ford finally had a conversation with every single F-150 owner in America and then built exactly what they asked for. Every complaint addressed, every request honored, every dream realized. That is not a small statement coming from people who are notoriously impossible to impress. And that social proof from the most knowledgeable and most critical truck audience in the world should tell you everything you need to know about what Ford has achieved here. So let us talk about the exterior. Because the outside of the 2026 F-150 is where this truck makes its first and most powerful statement. And that statement is one of the most confident and most impressive that any truck has ever made on an American road. The body is wider and more purposeful than any previous generation, with a stance that communicates serious capability before you even open the door. The proportions are exactly right. A long, strong hood that rises slightly toward the cab, giving the front of the truck this wonderful sense of power and mass. Wide fender flares that add muscular presence to the body sides, and a bed that is both beautifully integrated into the overall design and completely serious about doing real work. This is a truck that looks like it was built to carry the weight of the world and enjoys doing it. The front end of the 2026 F-150 is bold and commanding in a way that makes an immediate and powerful impression from the moment it appears in your rearview mirror. The grille is massive and precisely detailed, wide and strong and flanked by sharp angular headlight assemblies that give this truck an expression that can only be described as completely serious. Ford has refined the front fascia of the 2026 model with a clarity and a confidence that is immediately recognizable as F-150, while feeling completely fresh and completely right for this moment in the truck's history. There's nothing hesitant or uncertain about this front end. It knows exactly what it is. It knows exactly what it is capable of, and it wants everyone in front of it to know that too. Moving down the sides of the 2026 F-150, the body panels are clean and strong with character lines that flow with real purpose from front to rear. Ford has refined the surfacing of the doors and the bedsides with a precision that gives the truck incredible visual depth from different angles, catching light in ways that make the truck look alive and dynamic even when it is parked on a job site at 6 in the morning. The wheel arches are wide and properly muscular, housing wheels and tires that filled him with the kind of aggressive confidence that makes this truck look completely planted and completely ready for anything. The overall side profile of the 2026 F-150 is one of the most satisfying views of any vehicle on American roads right now. Perfectly proportioned, beautifully resolved, and completely honest about what kind of machine it is. The rear of the 2026 F-150 is where the truck makes its final and most functional statement, and it is one that every truck buyer in America is going to appreciate deeply. The tailgate has been completely reimagined with a new design that is both dramatically more useful than any previous F-150 tailgate and significantly more refined in its appearance and its operation. The taillights are bold and wide, stretching across the full width of the truck and giving the rear of the 2026 F-150 a presence and a drama that makes it look just as impressive driving away as it does coming toward you. The bumper treatment is clean and practical. Stepped surfaces integrated with real thoughtfulness. Tow hitch receiver positioned and sized for maximum real-world utility. Every decision made on the rear of this truck was made by someone who actually uses trucks to do real things, and it shows in every single detail. Now let us get inside. And this is where the 2026 F-150 story gets genuinely extraordinary, because the interior of this truck represents the single biggest leap forward in the entire history of the F-150 cabin experience. And I say that as someone who has sat inside every generation of this truck, going back further than I care to admit. The moment you open that door, and the door opens with this solid, purposeful, this truck means business weight to it, and step up into the cab, you are immediately met with an environment that feels less like a truck interior and more like a premium living space that happens to be mounted on the most capable pickup platform in America. The quality of the materials throughout this cabin is genuinely exceptional. Surfaces that look premium and feel premium in equal measure. Stitching that is precise and consistent. Assembly fit and finish that is tighter and more refined than anything Ford has ever put into an F-150 before this moment. The dashboard design of the 2026 F-150 is clean and architectural, wide and horizontal in a way that emphasizes the commanding width of the cab and gives the interior this wonderful sense of space and solidity at the same time. Everything is logically organized and intelligently positioned. Controls fall exactly where your hands want them to be, whether you are driving in your work clothes with dirty gloves on or dressed for a business meeting. The seating is exceptional, properly wide and deeply supportive, with real bolstering that holds you comfortably through long driving days without ever becoming fatiguing. The driving position is commanding in the best possible way. Sitting up in an F-150 cab and looking out over that long hood at the road ahead is one of those automotive experiences that reminds you exactly why this truck has been America's favorite for 7 decades straight. The rear seating and the Super Crew configuration deserves its own conversation entirely, because Ford has given rear passengers of the 2026 F-150 more space, more comfort, and more consideration than any previous generation of this truck has ever offered. Legroom that is genuinely extraordinary. Seat cushions that are properly padded and properly shaped for real comfort on long hauls. Storage solutions throughout the rear of the cab that are thoughtfully designed and generously sized. Families who use their F-150 as their primary daily vehicle, and there are millions of them across America, are going to feel the difference in this rear cabin immediately and significantly. The bed of the 2026 F-150 has received the same level of attention and the same level of ambition as every other part of this truck. Ford has introduced new bedliner integration, new tie-down point placement, new lighting solutions for working after dark, and new tailgate functionality that together make the 2026 F-150 bed the most useful and most thoughtfully designed cargo space in the full-size truck segment. Every contractor, every weekend warrior, every family that has ever loaded a bed with camping gear or construction materials is going to feel the difference immediately. This bed was designed by people who use truck beds. And that sounds obvious, but you would be surprised how rarely it is actually true. Now let us talk about what all of this is going to cost. And this is where the 2026 F-150 story becomes not just exciting but genuinely urgent. The 2026 Ford F-150 is expected to start somewhere in the range of $38,000 to $42,000 for the base regular cab configuration, which for everything this truck delivers at that price point is extraordinary value by any measure. The XLT trim, which is the most popular configuration in the F-150 lineup, is expected to land in the $48,000 to $55,000 range. The Lariat, the sweet spot of the lineup where the balance between capability and luxury is most perfectly achieved, is expected to come in between $58,000 and $68,000. And the top-of-the-range King Ranch, Platinum, and Limited trims are expected to push from $75,000 to $95,000 and beyond for fully loaded examples. At every single price point in this lineup, the 2026 F-150 represents the strongest value proposition in the full-size truck segment. And that has always been true of this truck. And it has never been more true than it is right now with this generation. And now I am going to tell you the thing I promised you at the very beginning of this video. The thing that the truck community has been quietly discussing in private Facebook groups and closed forums and dealer preview events across the country for the past month. Ford has confirmed that certain high-demand configurations of the 2026 F-150, specifically the Lariat, King Ranch, and limited trims with the most popular option packages, are going to have significantly constrained early production allocation. The dealers who have had preview access are already telling their most loyal customers the same thing. If you want the exact truck you want and the exact configuration you want, you need to be on a list right now, not in a month. Not after more reviews come out. Right now, because the people who move first get the first trucks, and the people who wait get to watch someone else drive away in their truck. Production on the 2036 Ford F-150 begins in the second half of 2025, with deliveries rolling through 2026. The enthusiasm from the truck buying public, the fleet managers, the contractors, and the passionate F-150 community across America is already at a level that Ford dealers have not seen in years. This truck is going to move fast. And a combination of the strongest product that Ford has ever put into this nameplate with the most constrained early allocation in recent F-150 history is a combination that creates real urgency for anyone who is serious about getting one. The 2026 Ford F-150 is not just the best truck Ford has ever built, it is the best truck America has ever built. And the people who get one early are going to be driving the most capable, the most refined, the most completely realized version of the vehicle that has defined American truck culture for 70 consecutive years. That is not something that comes along very often, and smart people will recognize that when it does, you move. So what do you think about the 2026 Ford F-150? Is this the truck you've been waiting for? Tell me everything in the comments below, because I read every single one, and this comment section is already one of the most active on this channel. Thumbs up if this video got you excited. It helps more than you know. Subscribe and hit the notification bell because our F-150 coverage is only just beginning, and the content we have coming is something you genuinely cannot afford to miss. I will see you in the next one, everybody. Take care.